How has AFL helped your mental well-being?
Well, probably the biggest example of that I think would be when I moved over to Tasmania. So I came up from WA, didn't know anybody. First thing I did was go down to the local footy club, and from that I've had now 4 years that I've been here. Had friends that I've had for those full 4 years, and definitely probably the quickest, easiest way that I've found to make friends is to get that local footy club, and definitely helped with that. So
you're right. And on the other side, physical well-being, how has that helped as well?
Definitely keeps you motivated. I think that's probably the biggest thing with most people is actually staying motivated to finding reasons to be fit, to be healthy. Something that I sort of take seriously for myself is my sort of physical fitness and sort of general health. So again, that's another reason of actually doing it is to actually keep yourself motivated, particularly in Tasmania in winter time when it's dark and freezing. You don't really want to go for a run or go to the gym, but again, having your friends there and having something to actually go to keeps you motivated. So definitely.
Perfect. What do you take from the actual AFL league itself, and watching that, do you actually apply any of that to your game at all?
Not so much for myself. I took a massive gap of my playing sort of career, and I stopped when I was about 23, and only picked it back up again when I came back to came to Tasmania when I was post 30. So probably more so from a coaching and like gameplay standpoint. Really interested in seeing the trends in the gameplay, or sort of what coaches and that are coming up with, and what those next developments look like in the gameplay and the game style. So that's probably something I'm probably looking for more rather than sort of personal development, because once you sort of get to 30, you know your game, you know your limitations, and you know what you can and can't do. And I think it's about playing to your strengths and stuff when you sort of get to that age. So probably not from a personal playing development, but from a coaching and gameplay development sort of stuff, I definitely keep a close eye on what the trends are in modern footy.
You're right. You're not. So where was your first game, both in WA and Tassie?
So first ever game was in Harvey in WA. So little town, a couple of hours drive south of Perth. I think it would have been under 12, I think, back then, probably my first game of footy ever. And then when I came over here, first game was Bridgenorth, over here. So I nearly went up to the Tamar Cats, and someone tapped me because we were living up around the Sidmouth at the time, and someone sort of said, "Oh no, don't go up there, they're a bit rough," and told me to go down to Bridgenorth, and and I said definitely one of the best choices I've made since I've been here. So
do you remember much from your under 12 games?
I do.
Score or anything? Or?
I don't remember the score. What I remember was I got penalised for holding the ball a lot, dropping the ball a lot. So that was one of those sort of first things where, first season, I played a bit of basketball for a couple of years, but hadn't played necessarily a contact sort of sport. What I was doing, I was picking the ball up, and as soon as I got tackled or anything like that, I was just dropping it straight away, because it's kind of, instinctual. So that was kind of one of my first memories of football, is getting done for dropping the ball, and having that to be the first thing I had to learn was to either hold on to the ball or get a quick hand pass away. So
right. So I guess the whole reason you played for Bridgenorth in the first place, because I presume you live nearby. Was that the whole
in around that sort of Sidmouth, Exeter sort of area is where we were at the time, and so it was purely sort of proximity, but very, very glad I made that decision. And just some early friends that we first made had some links to the club as well, so another reason as well.
Nice. What do you say as a few learning curves and challenges for you down here?
Probably the physical side of it. Like I said, I hadn't played footy for about 7 years when I stepped back into playing, and I think losing my speed was, in terms of the footy aspect, was probably the hardest thing I had to do, because I had to sort of learn how to play my position again a little bit differently, because I had no closing speed, so I couldn't give blokes a couple metre head start and zone off. So yeah, footy wise, that was probably and playing, that was the biggest adjustment I think I had to make, and also trying to be as vocal as possible as one of the sort of older leaders in the group, as well as making sure that I was as vocal as possible. Yeah.
Were there any hobbies or anything you did outside of footy, apart from training and game day, that you believe helped influence your game in a positive way?
Well, I definitely think there's some crossover between other sports. So I definitely think, having a bit of transfer of learning from particularly basketball was something that I played a lot of. So marking is something I think that comes across from basketball as well. Most basketballers that come across to AFL, pretty good markers. They take the ball at the highest point, things like that. So it's definitely, I think, playing multiple codes as a youngster is definitely something that I think helps as well. So
when it came to, say, your bigger games like finals and even rivalries with the club, was there anything you changed personally when it came to the game, mentally, physically, or is there any different sort of build up towards it?
Not necessarily. I'll probably, again, as one of the older guys in the team, trying to get around to younger players and sort of calm them down a little bit is probably something. The only thing in those sort of games is you do like to get involved early. So probably one thing, I'm probably a bit more aggressive in the first few minutes to try and get involved, get a touch, get a spoil, just do something positive, even with a tackle or a block, just do something positive for the team and get involved. Probably more about that pre-game in the first 5 minutes, and then after that, it's kind of just business as usual. Some of the rivalry games, and you get sort of teams that are a bit more physical and aggressive. It's probably a bit more around getting around your teammates a bit more, and probably finals as well. So when things go wrong, they get pummeled, they make a mistake. It's probably just getting around your teammates quicker and getting around a bit more to say, brush it off, get on, play your style, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Nice. How do you think you playing, not just AFL but sport and being physical at this age will help you in, say, 30 years?
I'm a big believer. That's probably the main reason I do try and keep healthy and fit, because I do think about that. Like, what does your quality of life look like in 30 years time? Just the ability to keep moving, I think, is so important as you get older. I think it's developing good habits now that you carry with you for the rest of your life is really important. So probably just more around developing the attitude and the sort of skills and stuff around physical health that you can then take into later life.
Nice. If you could start all over again, so thinking back to WA as well, what would you do differently or change?
So my biggest, so is this just around AFL and sport? Or,
Yeah.
So my biggest drawback for me has always been my kicking. And the reason for that was because I'm actually right-handed naturally, but my uncles and father that taught me to did things left-handed. So I used to be all muddled up. I do a hand pass right-handed, I right-handed, but then I used to kick left-footed, and then I played two-handed sports left-handed, so golf and baseball, but then like tennis and stuff like that was one-handed. I play right-handed, so definitely thinking. But I switched over to my right foot later in life because I didn't have my left hand on its own wasn't coordinated, so I never used to be able to drop the ball properly on my left foot. I used to two-handed drop onto my left foot. So I transferred over to my right, but that was again later in life. So it definitely would have been just sticking to right-handed dominance and keeping that. I think that would have made a big difference in my career. I think I would have been a much better footballer if I actually been able to be more accurate with my foot.
So when did you change over to starting to kick?
So I changed over, I reckon, just after I finished Colts, I think. Yeah, I think when I made them switch from, I used to play down in the Southwest Footy League where I grew up, and I transferred up to Perth to start playing. I think that's when I sort of started to move over onto my right side. Yeah, from there, probably about 19, I think. Yeah, 19, 20. Yeah.
Perfect. And has teaching here at all helped with anything? I guess working with people, does that influence the game much?
Definitely with teaching. Coaching is all about teaching. I think as you get older, your value to a team is not only based on your actual personal ability, but how you influence players around you. Definitely teaching aligns very closely with that sort of coaching aspect as well. So I think going forward, when I do a little bit more coaching in the future, the teaching aspect of what I've been doing will definitely help me through that. Yeah.
Right. Perfect. Thank you.